daughters.
First, let me just say thank you, thank you, thank you for having me. I'm so honored that you felt like you wanted to sit down and have this conversation with me. I am so honored that you look at me and my relationship because you know things about me and my marriage and me as a wife. I was very transparent with the girl group. And so, but I think that's what we missing as women in our society, especially minority women.
Come on.
We are so used to women being messy that we don't feel like we can trust. And we have to break that barrier. We have to break through that barrier. And I know my purpose. And I know my purpose is to share my story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's easy to share the good. It's not as easy to share the ugly. The part where you wasn't growing and you wasn't your best self. And so everybody who knows me knows, let me introduce myself to the world. I'm a church girl.
Cause I got a bio girl. I was like,
I'm a church girl that went bad. I went rogue for a real long time. It really took me about 20 years to come back to understanding what my gift and what my call was, because I had to get out of the place of honestly caring about what people thought and their opinions, because the people gonna talk anyway. So at almost 42 years old and going through the things that I've been through, probably in the last 14 years, because my grandmother passed December 19th of 2007. And that trajectory changed my life. And so from then until now, it's been a very eye-opening and defining process. I had the lowest of lows, the hurt of the hurts. And in the last two years ago, I lost her sister, who kind of filled in that space for her on the exact same day. And so, but that's when my healing began, because I didn't have any more crutches. Both of my crutches was gone. So I had to limp through life these last 2 years and figure it out.
Limp.
So you know how when you come off the crutches and you haven't used your limbs, and so you don't have that, you wobbly, your legs are wobbly, they ain't strong because you ain't really used them.
Come on.
And I had to learn how to use my legs. I had to learn how to use every scripture they had taught me, every word they had given me and imparted into me. And I had to pull that out of me to get me through, to get me where I am today. And so I love this platform because we're talking about healing relationships. And my mom gave me some advice one time. I was talking to her about a girlfriend. And it was one of the realest things, Toy, she ever said to me. She said, you cannot have a healthy relationship with an unhealthy person.
Wow.
And it made me think about the friend, but it made me think about me too.
Come on.
And
can you repeat? Can you say that one more time?
You cannot have a healthy relationship.
Yeah. I'm
with
here
an
for
unhealthy person.
Oh, wow.
And so before we got on this platform and we were talking, whenever you guys ask me to come and talk and speak, I go before God, because I never want to go before his people and not be prepared. And so I was telling you that what God had told me was he said, he was talking to me and he said, we need to stop telling new relationships about the old one. And so let me explain that. Especially in dating, it can be used in any relationship, but especially in dating and in friendships too, girlfriends too. People take on the mindset of what they hear. And so if I'm telling you everything that I wasn't getting, I'm telling you everything that I'm looking for. That person automatically puts themselves, who they truly are, goes away, because they in turn turn into who they're going to try to turn into who you're telling them you need or want them to be.
How about that? And this is interesting that we are having this conversation because I asked you one question, sis. I asked you one question because this is the platform of hard conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally stemmed from a lot of places, like just, my relationships and healing with my daughter and my family and within myself, of course.
Right.
And my brother, who just been home a few months, who spent 8 years away, out of my life, out of our lives. And so I asked you, I said, you want to talk about it? Because it's something that we have in familiarity that we've experienced in our marriages. And what you just said was everything. Because I think about that person, because I married my second husband. I married him while he was in divorce court. And in that time, all he gave me everything. Because, I believe in speaking from a place, and right now I'm just emotional. Speaking of a place from open wombs and closed wombs, because it's in seasons, right?
Yes.
But clearly, if you are in divorce court, your wombs are open.
And you're not ready.
Come on. And so here I am with open arms. I'm just like, what happened?
Right.
What she didn't do?
I'm gonna do it all. And so let me tell you.
What she do? She left you. She did this. And I'm telling you, I'm just gonna say in my right mind. I'm speaking from my right mind now. I'm clear. Like, think if I meet somebody tomorrow, and they say, like, I'm in divorce court, and my wife left me this way. And like, what? I'd be like, oh, I can listen. I can have dinner. We can talk about it. And it's a no for me.
It's a no. It should be a no for you. So let me tell you, we have talked about this.
Come on.
When I met my husband, we were co-workers. And we dated. And so when we were co-workers, we used to sit at lunch and talk about things all the time. So I know this to be true, probably more so in women than in men, but men too, because men prey on women with the what she ain't getting. But women do it too. So I'm gonna be everything she wasn't.
Yes, ma'am.
But as a woman, we're going to have some similarities because we're women, right? Believe it or not, me and his ex-wife, we are very different, but we are very similar. Our backgrounds, some of the things that we've been through, and we both committed infidelity towards him. And so when we went to marriage counseling to work through that, the first thing the therapist said is, so what about you that's making women do this to you? She didn't address me. She addressed him first. And so that's one of the things that we have to learn, that's why I think it's very, I'm stressing this, especially for young women who are trying to look for a mate. Don't talk about, and young men, don't talk about your last relationship, because we automatically turn on the let me be what they didn't have. So then what happens is 2, 3, 4 years down the line, when you get in the thick of the thing, in the thick of the relationship, who you are for real then shows up. And you can't keep up that facade of everything is great and he great and he, no, it ain't what it is. But see, if you never knew, if you go out on a date toy and the guy never tells you anything about his other relationships, you're going to continue to show up as your authentic self. So if you pop your gum when you chew, that's what you do. You get what I'm saying? But if he tell you, man, she popped her gum without chewing, that was a trigger for me. Every time you chew, you either not gonna chew gum or you gonna try to hide the fact that you popped gum when you chew. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And so, but then you're not showing up as your authentic self.
Come on. So, okay, this is so good, because I'm hearing everything and I'm listening clearly. And I'm like, you can't help but to talk about the things you're not healed from. So if you're not talking about your last relationship, it's like you're not giving them a blueprint, but you are, if you're speaking from a place of healing, you can talk and just talk.
Right.
But if you speak from a place of like where it's not closure or healing, then it's bothering you. It shows up, because I always say, like first of all, it's, I have an emotional checklist, so it's like, check your emotions, right?
Right.
Because it's bothering you is not about me.
Right.
So I need for you to understand, why is it bothering? I need for me to understand why it's bothering me. Let's just start. I'm gonna start with me first. But if it's this is work for me. So I also, I know that I'm like, oh, it's bothering you. And what about that is bothering you?
Right.
Because if it's still bothering you, you literally, you can't heal what you don't reveal. So let's reveal it. Let's get it up to the surface, right?
Yes.
And if you talking about what had happened, right? But the fact that I'm open to what had happened, and I'm just like, oh, what happened? I'm listening, I'm sucking it all in. I'm like, that was it. And to be honest, you're more than likely drawing the person that's not the issue. So you can't find out what the issue is with them. You don't see what their issue is.
Right.
Because you can't see,
you so far into the relationship.
We all focused on what the issue wasn't.
Right.
Right.
Right. Instead of what the issue is, and then now you bumping heads because you having that same issue with that person.
Right. It meet up and it comes in a different way, a different color, and or even in different. It could be a different one, but honestly, it's the same underline.
Yeah.
Right. Come on.
Right.
Because you ain't doing nothing. Come on.
I think just we need to be honest and transparent about being traumatized and broken, especially in the Black communities. And men in the inner city are taught to be strong. You don't show signs of weakness. You're not supposed to be tender. None of these type of things.
Yeah.
Women are taught to dote over men. Dote over them. Give them what they want, girl. Fix their plate. Wash their clothes. And you do all of that.
What to do, sis? She said, wash their
Hey, you supposed to cook, make their plate, wash their clothes. You supposed to dote over them. You supposed to take care of them. I was raised by my grandmother, and she was older, right? So her and my grandfather did not stay married long. They were only married 10 years. My grandfather had an issue with substance abuse and abused my grandmother essentially. And so she left him after 4 kids, though. You see the cycle. And so you don't, she taught us how to be a strong woman. What my grandmother taught me was how to survive, but she didn't leave me any technical skills to live. So she survived her whole life, and I love her to death. But survival killed her. She did not teach me how to heal and live. And she died with that trauma and that baggage. And I'm trying not to be that. And I'm trying to break that generational curse off of myself and my sister and my cousins and my soon-to-be granddaughters. And I'm also trying to teach my sons what a healthy Black woman looks like. I have one son of my own. I have 4 stepsons. And so I'm trying to teach them and my daughter. Black women are healthy. We can be healthy. I mean, I'm not all the way. I'm a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Everybody,
it's working process. First
but
of all,
I want them to see what it looks like. Right. I want them to see what it looks like to work on yourself before you go into a relationship. Don't go into no relationship broken up and beat up. That's not fair to the other person, because you're looking for that person to heal you, and no one can heal you but you and God. That is a work within itself. Period. Only you and him have the notebook to do that. And so me and my husband, because we went through therapy, with our marriage counselor.
Let's talk about therapy, girl. Let's talk about this. So I want like the breakdown, because I want to talk about what led you to therapy. Let's talk about it.
So when we were dating, I wanted to go to therapy. I saw some red flags.
Okay.
And I saw some red flags based on we had two different ideas of what marriage looked like. My husband had been married before. I hadn't been married at all. I come from a family of marriages. My husband did not. He didn't have as many pictures of it as I did. and I've talked about this before on some of our platforms.
Mm-hmm.
One of our breakdowns was, for the both of us, was we had each other on a false pedestal. My husband thought because of my faith and who I was when he met me, I wouldn't fall off that pedestal. I could never. She could never do that.
Because you call yourself the church girl. So this makes
Yeah.
sense.
But see,
Oh,
when he met me,
come
I was a
exactly.
single mom. I was
Let's
struggling.
go.
I was
Mm-hmm.
going through, me and my son were bouncing from place to place. I was trying to gain stability.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in church heavy because I felt like the only thing that could save me was God at that time. What could keep me?
Yeah.
And it did. What happened was, is in my marriage, one thing that we learned in therapy was coupling. And we found out that he wasn't coupling with me, he was coupling with his mother.
Hmm.
And so let me say this. He was raised by a single mom. I was a single mom before I married him. So I have made a conscious effort not to couple with my child because he needs to go and marry somebody else and be with somebody else. I'm his mama. I'm not his girlfriend. I'm not his date. And so that was a part of our breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
He was essentially, I was the third person. I was the other woman in my marriage. And so that was hard. That was really, really hard. And we are just now getting back to a safe space where the three of us can be in the same space. And that's just me being transparent and honest. And that took a lot of me seeking God, a lot of fasting, a lot of praying, because I waited a long time to get married. I was 36 when I got married. And it wasn't that I hadn't been engaged before and talked about marriage with certain people.
It's not that you're not fine.
Thank you, sis. But it was diagnosis, like for real. Like I waited a long time. I thought this was it. I went into it trying to be like this faith-bound, godly wife. This is what I've been taught.
Yeah.
And baby, it was nothing like what I thought. Nothing. And so honestly, if I had to be honest about it, what led me to infidelity, honestly, I didn't want to be forgiven.
Wow.
Because I felt like that was my out. That was my out. I had to do something that could get me out. Let me tell you, when your life is in God's hands, you get blown away. Because when you be thinking the plan is going to go one way, the plan goes something else. Prior to that, when we were dating, my husband was totally I ain't going to therapy. I tried that with my ex-wife, that didn't work. When this breakdown happened, he was the one that found a therapist. He was like, we're going to therapy. We want to talk this out.
Okay.
And so it caught me off guard because I didn't expect that. I expected the same reaction as before, like from what he had told me. You know what I'm saying? And what was funny is at the time, I didn't even think about the fact that it had already happened to him before. Honestly, I didn't even remember that conversation.
How could you remember that when you are? No, this all
Girl, I was so busy trying to be the
trying to meet your own needs.
Yeah, no, I was trying to be the perfect person, honey. I was trying to be the perfect girlfriend and wife.
The breakdown, infidelity, one thing, if you can agree that infidelity is all about self. It's like self-absorbed. It's really all about it's not about a union, because marriage and family is about a union.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the big guy. It's like so much bigger than us.
I was so messed up. I was drinking and hanging out and just being not my true self. Not even my true self. I didn't talk to my family. I didn't talk to my friends. Nobody knew. I was just in a dark space. But I'm gonna tell you,
what was he giving you? What were you getting in that relationship? Like what were you getting fed? That was taking you more away from you. Just curious,
BS.
What was
BS? The BS of life. I got the fluff.
What the BS feel like? What does that BS feel like? Because somebody getting some BS right now, tonight, right now.
No, for real, the fluff, the false securities.
False security. But how did it feel like? Was it false then to you?
Nope. In that, it was exactly the jointness, the word union, the family. You know what I'm saying? All of that, those pieces that, especially us as Black women, especially if we got kids and we,
So which everything you
I
wanted,
painted the picture, everything you thought you wanted it to feel like. You know, I was connected with the family and the friends and everything. And but not loved in a loving way. My self-esteem dropped, you know, like I not even so much the esteem as far as like physical appearance, but my inner, who I thought I was, and my value and my worth.
Okay.
I felt like I never made enough money. I never contributed enough. I didn't do enough. I didn't love enough. I didn't give enough. And I'm a naturally giving person. So I just give until I'm like bone dry.
Yes.
And I had gave till I didn't have anything left. And then that's when the bitterness sits in. That's when the anger gets there. And I'm a Leo. So I am fiery. My sign, my birthday, everything in my thing, Leo. So I'm definitely one of those people. Once you cross me, it ain't no coming back across the line because I'm coming to cut. One of my girlfriends tell me all the time, she was like, I admire how quiet you are. I said, that is strategy, boo. That's strategy.
You're cooking it up. That's cooking. That's like being in
One thing I learned about myself, probably by the time I was 25, is I could cut you with my tongue. I know people's trigger points. So I'm going to hurt you, because if you coming for me, I'm going to hurt you back. So I learned that. And I knew how to use that as a tool. As I've gotten older, I've learned that that's not a healthy tool.
Right.
That's not a healthy tool.
Literally, these are those defense mechanisms that we discover as we grow and, you know, dig into ourselves, because literally those things really do protect us. Until we know they no longer serve us. We don't need that to protect us anymore, right? But they literally are a power place until we can shift the power place.
Yes. So what I've learned, I'm sorry, mommy duties. What I've learned over the last 2 years is, I literally went to God and asked him to bridle my tongue. I asked him to teach me how to be quiet. And in that quietness, though, I learned how to be still. So the scripture that I be still and know that I am, I had to really, really, really learn to trust God, because I was super confused, Toy. Sis, I was like, what is this? This don't look familiar to me. This is not comfortable. I'm hurting. Why aren't you healing? Like, why is this happening? Why did you have us get back together and only still be angry, you know, to go through the anger, to go through the process? And God was teaching me that nothing could fulfill me other than his love. His love, God's love, not my husband, not the kids, not this stuff. Because I could tell you, you know, I have a million titles. Yeah. But it wasn't until I discovered my purpose, my passion, and followed in it and left everything to the wind because of it, that I was able to embrace, like you said, and move forward. And honestly, it had just started like right before I met you guys. And I was already in that space of, you know, transforming. Yeah. And one thing I told myself was I told my husband, I said, listen, I'm going into ministry. This is what I'm going to do. You either rocking or you're not. And I'm going to look different. And I had to tell a lot of people in a lot of my relationships, from girlfriends to my parents to most of the relationships in my life, probably like 80%. Wow. I'm not the version of me that you have in your head. Please scratch her. I'm not her no more. I'm not her no more. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel obligated. I don't feel like I owe nobody anything anymore. I've come through it. I've come through the storm and the rain. I've made it. And I need to be valued the same way that I give value. Mm-hmm. And that was, you know, me standing up for myself, because I could tell you, Toy, I didn't have a voice. I didn't have a voice. I was a big presence in a room with no voice.
And it's interesting because I can't even imagine. And that's the beauty of becoming. It really is. Like it's the beauty of healing. It's the beauty of the process. Because you can say I was all these things. Like I can literally, I can say like, hey, I was a gangster disciple queen. You can say like, where, how, seriously.
Yeah.
It is the same exact way. Because all these things, they really don't define you.
Right.
And it's and until you know that they don't. They don't.
Yeah. They don't. Right.
That's when the imposter syndrome, like you can really just it can be gone. Well, you don't feel like you don't feel like you're really that person that's impersonating something else.
Yep.
Because you literally just embracing it all.
Right. And
if you were not that, you would be this, and it's all into becoming.
Yes, it is. And it's all in showing up as who you are. And owning that. Owning who you are. That's my quirkiness, my silliness.
Yeah, by
who I am.
Yeah.
Even showing up with my kids. I had to learn how to show up differently with each child.
Yeah.
Because I can't be the same mom with each one of them, because they each have a different personality. Everybody has a different need.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to show up in the spaces that they needed me to show up in and be myself, because they need me to be healthy. They need me to be
and healthy. Then they need you in different seasons. Would you agree? At different seasons, they need different times. And what I learned, even as a mother, like, would you agree? Because in different phases, because you have different children and different doing different things at different times, and it's like, literally, it's like they may be experiencing a different woman, right, in a different season.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my son has grown up with me. I was the 20-year-old young mama. I was the 30-year-old trying to figure it out mama, and now I'm the 40-year-old. Oh, that's my mama. She got it. What you talking about? Like,
come on.
What you talking about? And I'm appreciating being appreciated differently from them, because they've watched me lose jobs. They've watched me transition. They've watched me become an entrepreneur. They've watched me become a woman of God and faith, stronger in my faith than when they, met me. And they watch me unconditionally love their dad. Never disrespect, never, none of that. So I'm hoping that the image that they see is what they will go out and look for when they look for wives. She's strong, she independent, she doing her own thing. But I let my husband, he is the head. Any conversation we need to have that we don't agree on, we disagree behind closed doors.
Beautiful.
We do not argue in front of our children.
Now
once that door shut, I don't know what they hear.
And here's the thing: the interesting thing is you will not know until you know.
Yes.
Your own experiences. But I'm curious to know. I really want to talk about the breakdown, because a lot of times people think, I've heard, people say like, oh, like he cheated on me, it's over, or oh, he cheated on her, she's still together. The Clintons. I want people to understand about the breakdown and how easily that happens, because from my belief is that it's not about the breakdown, it's about what happens afterwards, the build up. And a lot, and if most people that you talk to that's been married 20, 30, 40 years, it's not been, and people, especially since we got the gram in the book now, it's like, you get to see a picture perfect what it is.
Right. And people don't talk about what's not happening when you turn off the camera. Like, you could be two girls 10 seconds before you could be in an argument taking the photo. Like,
exactly. And I learned that from the first baby. It was like spit up all over the first outfit. We got the second outfit. Don't take the picture. They be like, oh, this looks so beautiful. Actually, I had model children, like my children model. So I was like, and you look at the picture, see them on the page or whatever they do, and it's like, oh, beautiful. But it's, girl, you literally
right. You don't know what.
I'm a behind the scenes person. So that's for I want to talk about behind the scenes,
So behind the scenes, so in front of the scene, we
Mm-hmm.
were the picture perfect. We hosted everything. We had everybody over all the time. We
Y'all
cooking out.
beautiful.
Yeah, our house is the place to come.
Mm-hmm.
We this perfect Brady Bunch couple. And I used to tell, I'm very close to my husband's two best friends. They're like his brothers. And one is actually his brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to tell them all the time, I always wanted them to come over because he was a different person towards me when they were there.
Mm.
And
Interesting.
people didn't get that. He was
Yeah.
so nice when people are around. I'm the perfect wife, blah, 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 blah. My husband wasn't physically ever abusive. He's never want to put his hands on you, but
Mm-hmm.
he was emotionally and mentally abusive. It
Mm-hmm.
was like as soon as the last guest left and shut the door, he
Right.
turned into another person.
Yeah.
And people don't understand the mental strain. So I had kind of separated myself from my friends, from my family, everything. My whole world was his world. Because like I said, I took on everything like girl, like I had a notepad. Be this way he looking for, blah, 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 blah. I could be all that, no problem. Yep. And as you're becoming what they want you to be, you lose so much of yourself.
Talk
And
about
there
it.
wasn't
Mm-hmm.
cool. If you want to spend holidays with your family, well, let me go to my family first and then I'll swing by there. All of that. And it wasn't fair. It wasn't ever balanced. And it took a toll on me. And after a while, I couldn't take it. I just combusted. And honestly, I can't tell you when it happened because it just happened.
Mm.
Like literally, it was like I was in a black cloud for this short time span. It was like my life was one way one day, and then it just changed. It came crashing down,
Mm-hmm.
and then here we are into another phase of, oh, how do we heal? And
Wow.
let me tell you, sister girl was all in therapy, like blah 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 blah, and you do this and you do that, and girl,
Mm. So
and
were you
going
all
home
in
from
couples
therapy
therapy? Were
like,
you all in there together?
so we
Mm.
did joint, and then we did separate.
What did you learn about yourself? I'm curious to know what you learned about yourself for you to be in that position where it was just like you just kind of all about him, all about somebody else.
Um, I needed stability for my situation when I met him, and
Mm-hmm.
he offered that.
Okay.
We both had the same faith base, which I felt like I could work with. He had his own relationship with God, and I had my own. So he wasn't piggybacking off of me. And so in my mind, he's answering to God like I'm answering to God. So
It felt like
this should work
security.
out. Huh?
It felt like security. That
Yeah,
they
in that situation, like
okay.
that in itself.
Makes sense.
And then
Mhm.
um we were really good friends. We
Mm.
were really good friends.
Mhm.
And somewhere in that, we stopped being friends.
Mm.
And then we grew out of one another because who we were at the 4 year mark wasn't who we were at year one. Where we are almost 11 years in, I'm definitely not who I was even probably 2 years ago. And I'm definitely not who I was trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
And so what has drove us is partnership,
Mhm.
raising our kids,
Mhm.
which transparently is getting ready to be something new for us
Mhm.
because our last two kids are getting ready to graduate from high school and go away to college. So we're about to be empty nesters, and the thing that kept us together is now going to be gone.
Mhm.
So now we have to rediscover, which has been a really weird space for us. Do I like you? Do you get on my nerve? Can I do this forever?
That's why I'm excited. That's why I was most excited to have this conversation with you because First of all, because you're one of the few couples that actually really like each other and love each other throughout 2020. Because the half the people I know, I was like, well, I'm glad that I got the divorce the year that I did.
Mm-hmm.
My ex-husband and I, we
Let me
talked,
tell
we
you,
really good friends. I'm like, good thing we did that when we did it, because 2020.
yes,
Come on, let's talk
sis,
about.
we've legit been in this house every day
Mm-hmm.
because, so you know, I'm a chef, so I work from home. So my business is in the house and I'm in
Okay.
school. So I'm here. My office is the kitchen, but now his office is the kitchen. And the
Okay.
kids' offices is on the same floor in their bedroom. So we've
Okay.
legit been in the house for a year. We had one major, super duper big blow up where we was like, "It's we done." I was like, I literally told him, "Give me 30 days to find somewhere to go move.
Come
I'm
on.
out."
That's what I'm talking
This
about. Give
is
it to
on
me.
UG.
Give it to us.
I left the house
Mm-hmm.
and walked, and it was like super hot that day. Like I walked down. I have a girlfriend that don't live too far from us, and I walked down there to cool off.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally told God, I'm not about to pray.
Mm-mm. What you
I'm being
tell him?
honest with
What you
you.
tell him?
I said, Lord, I'm not about to pray. I'm
Okay.
not about to pray about this. I'm not coming to you with this. I'm not crying over this. I get it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I came back, he was like, we need to talk. And I'm like, okay. But you know me, sis. I'm like, okay. What you want to talk about, bro? Like, that's the attitude I got.
Come on.
And we were sitting there, and he was like, this is not what I want. I got to learn how to handle my wife better.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I let a simple question escalate to something else. And he had to discover that it was something deeper for him. It really didn't have anything to do with me. And so, one thing that I did learn in therapy is my therapist told me, walk away. You don't have to argue.
Mm.
Walk away. You can walk away respectfully. You don't have to argue. And
You
we've
practice
had
that.
some bickers, some small
Mm-hmm.
bickerings. But what we've discovered was one thing we discovered is we didn't communicate well.
Wow.
We always communicate in the defense. We never communicated offensively. We were
That's,
always in the defense.
wow. How I'm can you share how you discovered that or where that began?
Um, our responses
Mm-hmm.
and coming to understand it was really more so my husband. He was like, wait, because I was always like, why'd you say it like that? And he like, wait, that's not what I meant to say. Like I said it, but that's not what I meant. And I was like, but that's what you said.
Yeah.
And so we figured it out. We were, even me, we answer. I'm always answering in the defense. I'm ready for the shot back because you're not gonna outget me. You're not gonna outwit me like that.
Mm-hmm.
And once we learn to just have conversations with one another,
Mm-hmm.
agree to disagree, respect each other's opinion, and
Mm-hmm.
have empathy. Empathy was huge.
Where'd you get that from?
Therapy taught us empathy.
Oh, there. And taught you in what? How?
We had to care for one another. We had to learn how to care again about
How'd
one
you?
another.
I'm just curious to know how you learned it. How did you learn how to do that? Because I'm asking you because it's people that's listening, that's watching right now, and they don't know how to do that. So they're like, well,
It
how?
wasn't easy. It was
Where
steps.
you?
She gave
Where
us
they do that
she
at?
gave us a worksheet, and we
Mhm.
had to. She gave us a worksheet that spelled out empathy, and we had to put it on our refrigerator.
So y'all was doing the work, is what you're saying, basically.
We did the
So
work.
do the work. And this is not a
We
light
did the
person,
homework. We did the
but
back work.
do
We
the
did
coaching, do the work, do the therapy.
do the work. And
Come
let me
on.
tell you this, and I know you know this, Toy.
Mm.
Marriage is a choice.
What is it?
Marriage is a choice.
A choice. Okay, a choice. Talk about it.
It's a choice because you choose to do that every day. You got to
Every day.
choose
The
to,
everyday. Just I
you
love
got to choose every day to show up as your best self.
it. Mm.
Even if you fail and you drop the ball, you got to keep dribbling. You got to go get it and come back and say, okay. And we get on each other's nerves. Yesterday, he was laughing and was like, you get on my nerve. You get on my nerve, like for real. But we get up every day and we choose to fight. I can't tell you, we know. We can both, if you catch us on any day, we'll be like, I don't know if this is gonna work.
Yeah.
But
You choose to fight or you choose to make peace.
right.
You choose to love or you choose to hate, right?
And
Because I look at like marriage is such as life. Honestly, like but I really think it's one of the most challenging spaces because you're doing it with someone else. And that's
and
why
you cannot be so caught up in how you feel that you disregard the feelings of your partner.
Wait, what do you mean? Because what I can't be in my feelings. It
But
ain't about what I feel.
No, you can't be so caught up in your feelings that you disregard the other person. And that's in any relationship. You can't be so caught up in your idea of things that you disregard and miss the fact that you hurt my feelings.
I'm here for what I'm feeling. So come on, talk about it, because I believe that what you do in one place, you do in another place. So come on, what you do at work, you do at home. What you do with your kids, you do with your husband. You do with your family. You show up as yourself everywhere you go.
And so if I'm so caught up in how I'm feeling about any relationship, right? That I disregard how it might have made you feel. That's why that scripture in the Bible said, if you think anybody has any ought against you, you need to apologize. That's what that scripture is about.
That's what he was saying. Okay.
That's what he was saying. Like, you can't be so caught up in your stuff that you forget that somebody else has a feeling just as strong as you. And you got to take a back and pause.
Because I believe I don't believe it, but I live the 4 agreements. It's the simplest book you ever read in your life, right? It's like, it's be impeccable. Don't take anything personal. Don't assume. And always just do your best. It's like 4 simple agreements.
Let me tell you, one of the biggest agreements is don't take it personal. That's what gives us. That's
the one. I mean, I don't know how to measure them, but give it to me. What you got from that? What you get from
taking it personal and assuming are the 2 that get you.
Those are 2. Those are the 2.
We assume we know how somebody feel. We assume we know what they thinking. We look at it, and from our perception, I'm assuming this is how it's gonna go. No, probably not. Probably the exact opposite.
I said, what if you could take assuming out and you just ask?
Ask a question.
What if we can ask?
Let me tell you what the problem is with asking. That's where taking it personal come in. Because when you ask the question, you can't take the answer personal. It ain't about you. It's about the person.
Wow. So not to be attached to the outcome? Really? Oh, wow.
You're just supposed to show up. Your part in it is to show up. You cannot control how a person reacts to it. You can't.
It goes back to those feelings and emotions, and I'm telling you, I do this emotionless, and it's online. We can Google this. It says, "Hey, how are your emotions?" or check your emotions. And it's about your emotions. If you're feeling this way, it's because of this. Because it's all about you. It's always about you.
And we as women, we're made up of emotions, right? So we going through these emotions. Especially, I feel like I was really emotional in my 20s. And I feel like I'm in a different place of emotion in my 40s. So my emotion in my 20s was my feelings was always hurt. You could sneeze at me and my feelings are, why would you do that? I wouldn't do that to you. In my 40s, my emotion comes from my gratefulness. My gratefulness, because I can look back at 42 and look back at 30. And
I cry about anything. I'm
so grateful.
Everything is gratitude. Everything is like, another day. I'm still here. Oh my God. This happened. That happened. This happened.
Especially with the pandemic. My family had COVID over Thanksgiving. I have my last 2 sons graduating from high school. So that's so for me, it was me and my baby for 12 years. Then I married my husband, and now he's getting ready to leave me and go to college. And I'm like, what's happening? And so we just had our first little teenage thing, like where our relationship kind of broke down for like 3 days. And me and him have never had that before. So I was like freaking out. I was so sad. I was crying. I was talking to my husband. venting. My husband goes in on my son like, "Yo, mom in there crying because she." And both of me and my son recognized the one thing that we didn't do that we always did. We didn't talk. We didn't talk about it.
Just talk.
My emotions had me angry. His emotions had him angry, and we separated. And we've never done that before.
Wow.
And we didn't stop to talk, which is what we've always done. We've always talked. We've always communicated. And we made a promise to each other to always talk. We wouldn't let anyone else get in between that. We would always talk. And I told him, I said, I don't care where you go, any part of the country, you have to call me once a week. And he was like, once a week? He was like, that's it? And I was like, yeah, I want you to live your life. You got to grow. You got to be without mommy. I'm trying to set you up for life and skills. I don't want you to be that boy attached to their mama. You're not a mama's boy. And he was like, I am. He was like, I'm a mama's boy because I love my mama.
He's like, I'm gonna embrace that.
He was like, I'm gonna embrace that. He was like, whatever. But I think that's the best part of my relationship with all my kids. They can talk to me.
Okay.
They have a level of respect for me, but they also have a friendship with me, and they know they can trust me. And I'm open-minded. I try to be an open-minded parent because I know I was clowning at all stages that my kids is at. Like, I had a kid by the time I was the age of my oldest kid. So I know the pressure, and I know the pressure is way different. Like, these kids dating in society is completely different from us. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
I just try to have open, dialogue. Let me tell you, the thing that changed my relationships with all 5 of my children came about a year ago from you. When I asked each of my kids what they experienced with me as a mother was after having that conversation with you, that changed the trajectory of my relationship with all 5 of my kids.
Talk about it.
I asked them, what is your experience with me as a mom or as a stepmom?
Wow.
This is open dialogue for you to tell me I suck. Do I suck? Thank God I didn't suck so bad.
Whew. You wasn't as horrible as me? Good for you. I said I'll take it for the team.
I didn't
suck. I would say, you know what? I'm gonna write the book for the team. Come on, sis.
Right, I didn't suck as bad.
No,
and even my son. You know, my son's biggest issue with me was,
what is it?
Letting go of the past. He said, and it brings me to tears. He said, Mom, we are not in the situation that we were in.
Wow.
You do not have to keep parenting me in that space.
Beautifully put. He said we are embracing forward, Mom.
We are not. I'm not that kid, G.
Come on.
My mama is out here grinding. We got everything we need.
We doing this, Mom.
Let me tell you, it's so funny because I was talking to him about going to school, and I was like, what are your concerns? And his concern was, he was like, I'm gonna sit down and talk to you and Daddy separately because I see some things that I think I could help y'all get along.
He's talking about you.
Right. He's like, I'm worried about y'all killing each other once we leave. Because what they recognize is that they know that them raising them is at me and my husband common ground. We always gonna do what's best for them. Always. Right. But what do you do?
The balance in the house.
Right. But what do you do when that's gone?
And what's the plan? How do you see that? What do you think about it? And what do you think about hearing
that? I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what that looks like.
That's natural. That's natural.
I'm afraid of what that looks like. Well, one, I have been a mom for 18 years. I was a single mom for a really long time. My grind for my kids is different. You know, I'm building a legacy, all of that. And I juggle a lot in a day. Like, my life is crazy, you know. And so what happens when I don't have to do all of those things? One, I got time to focus on me. I haven't focused on me in a really, really long time. And then focusing solely on me and my marriage. How does that?
You and your man. Come on.
Right. We gotta learn.
Yeah.
We gotta learn each other at this stage in life. I'm gonna be 42, my husband will be 45. We different. You know what I'm saying? We're different. And so what does that look like?
Yeah.
What does that look like for both of us? And do you like this version of me?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like this is only tip of the iceberg of what God has in store for me,
Mm-hmm.
ministry, business wise. So as I'm maturing and I'm coming into myself, what does that look like for you? You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, and so I think that's the question that we have. One thing that we practice is time out.
Oh, beautiful.
Me and
Hmm.
my husband we be in time out. You know what? I'm gonna go in time out. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Give me
Okay.
literally let me take 30 seconds
That
and then
sounds like
I'll come
keeping the
back.
peace. That keeps some
Yep.
peace, right?
Peaceful. Yeah.
Well, what does it look like? What do you want it to look like for you? Shanae, just curious. Like, how do you, I want to say,
Um,
like, not in a perfect world, but literally, like, literally in a real world for you. What does it look like?
it looks like peace.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have been very strategic in all my relationships
Mm-hmm.
about learning that just I seen a post that said just because we not talking don't mean I'm beefing with you. I ain't beefing with nobody, but that don't mean you got to be a part of my everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm learning to have peaceful relationship, not chaotic ones. I want peaceful relationships, and I definitely want that in my marriage. I want peace. I want us to be able to sit back. Um, we just went out on a date. So my husband, I was having some stressful days here, and so he took a day off of work on Tuesday, I think it was, and he was like, "We just gonna go out, just hang out, do what we like to do, go to the mall, have lunch." We didn't talk about bills. We didn't talk about the kids much. We just got back to the things that we like to do
Mm-hmm.
together.
Yeah.
And we had a great day. We didn't argue, we didn't fuss and fight, we didn't take each other too serious. Let me tell you that's been one of our issues. We take each other too serious. We took each other's words way too serious.
Mm.
And so when you can get back to some lightheartedness and everything not being so heavy, because Toy, being married, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of household. You got finances, you got bills, you got kids, you got stuff going wrong with the house, stuff going right with the house, like everything. And it's easy to get lost in that, in a responsibility. One person getting up in the morning at the crack of dawn, the other person going to bed late at night, you missing each other. You in the same house. We've been in the same house the whole year and we still miss each other because my husband is up super early,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bed super late. Because he's up early, he's going to bed early, I'm still sitting at the kitchen counter doing homework or doing business plans or doing orders, whatever. So you miss each other and you forget to connect unless you're talking about a bill
Come
or a
on.
kid or
Yes. And that's
responsibility.
why it's so easy. And I'm so
Mm-hmm.
glad that you brought
To
that back
break it
around
into
because
for fine breakdowns.
come
That's
on.
where the cracks come
There
in.
you go. That's where because for me, from my experience, I also was I found myself in an affair for a year with my first husband. And when I think about it, that's just easy. It's a scapegoat. That was
Mm-hmm.
like you remember those easy buttons, just press the easy button because
Mm-hmm.
what that was easy. It was like
Mm-hmm.
all these things that I had to do. It was hard at home and all these things, all this work and yeah, and I'm that mama. I'm gonna be here. I'm doing dance. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
volunteering for this and that, and all these things I'm doing. And then it's like, huh. And I look
Mm-hmm.
at my husband like, good night. You know,
Right.
you see it,
And
and
you
it
ain't being
happened.
nice
It
to
really
me,
does happen. It happened.
girl. And then you ain't being nice to me. And
And then
then
you don't even see what I'm doing.
right, you're not
You
appreciating
don't
it.
even see me.
You don't see me.
You
You see all
so
the stuff I'm doing, but you don't see me.
so
And so,
what's easy is somebody else to come in and say, all the things that
mm-hmm,
you want to hear and do
mm-hmm,
all the things that you want done. That's just
mm-hmm,
easy. But
yeah,
what's hard, and this is why I invited you. What is not easy, because
it's
I
pain.
believe when you do what's not easy, when you do the things that's hard, your life can become easier.
Mm-hmm,
Because face the hard stuff first. Like face the hard stuff. Because
mm-hmm,
I feel like it's harder to keep the hard stuff within. It's the struggle. You know, those secrets that your mama them told, your grandma them told. Don't tell you who the daddy is in the family. Let's talk about this. This real shit. So I know. Don't leave me out here by myself. It's just me that I'm the only mama that lied to their daughter for 10 years. They didn't know who her biological father was.
I'm still going through that right now, personally.
Yeah.
And think about that. Me and my family were just talking about that. Like, I was talking to my aunt, my mom's sister. And I'm just like, so is she ever gonna tell me? So I can know for me, or is she gonna take that to her grave? And my husband was like, well, how do you feel about it? I said, I feel like the reason she hasn't said anything because she knows that it probably would be it for our relationship. I said, but
wow.
So she's holding on to it because she's trying to hold on to me. Who I'm becoming, though, honestly, Toy.
And that's actually what she thinks that it would be.
What she thinks. Yeah. What would happen is that it probably would heal us because it would be the first time she told me the truth about something.
Wow, Shanae, this is amazing.
And so, because I am very transparent and truthful with my children. I tell them the truth.
Come on. And see, I'm here in proxy of your mother. Because it's other mothers. It's other, come on, Black women. It's other Black women. It's other mothers that's here that hasn't had the conversation yet with their daughters.
Yep. And so then when you're not truthful about those things, guess what happens? They're missing something, so they go to the world to seek it. They never can find it, and you have the key to heal that part of them, and you don't.
Yeah, thank you for that.
And if you don't have any spiritualness about you, you're always gonna seek it, because the only person it's only two people who could feel it, God and her.
Yeah.
So she won't give it to me. Luckily for me and my faith and my teachings, I just push myself deeper into my relationship with God. But I had to apologize to my husband for everything that I was carrying and everything that I brought. I told him, I said, baby, I brought a whole set of Louis Vuitton luggage into this situation.
We don't even know what we bring.
I'm so sorry.
We don't even, I had no idea, because for real, in my heart of hearts, I thought I was doing the right thing. So that's why I'm here to apologize for every mother who has lied to their daughter about who your father is, or like, seriously, because it was
life, the simplest things in life. Like,
it might be simple, but in my mind, you know,
yes,
like, well, leave the past behind. Good great family. We're gonna move forward here.
Okay,
and you ain't gotta do that. He's dead. That was such a disservice. I'm serious. Like, her knowing her family and being a part of their lives, it's like, it's not Antoine Fisher, but it is Divine Joy's story.
Yeah. And she deserves to make the choice whether she wanted to have that as a part of her life.
And the fact that they in my grandbaby's life, too, the fact that they in Chase's life is like, this is life. He's 25, his cousins are like, this is life. And how do I have, who gave me permission? What God? Who gave me permission to
what right did you have to take
what right do I have? What right to say, like, you get to control who you choose not and to be her? We don't have that, women. We don't have that mommy's mother. It's no, it makes you a horrible mother. If you just want to be honest, because
right.
You don't have to be.
And so even in my situation with my son's father, I haven't seen him in 14 years. I've never lied to my son about what it was. I said, oh yeah, your daddy was the rebound dude. We was kicking it. We was real great friends. No, I wasn't in love.
In between,
he was in between something.
Okay.
God gave me you. I never told him not one time he couldn't be a part of your life. That was a choice that he made. And I asked him on his 16th birthday, and I asked him on his 17th birthday. I said, are you sure? Do you want me to reach out? I know where to go. Like, and he told me no. And so I gave him his choice. I did not take his choice away from him. I gave him his choice. He gave it back to me and said, no, chick, you can have that. I'm good. I'll take it back on. Literally, he said he would figure it out when he became an adult.
Okay.
So there was no need for me to to pressure it anymore because I did my part. I never bashed him. I never I was just honest with him though. Because though of the lack of honesty that I got growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So so yeah. I'm sorry if my house gets loud. They're coming in from the back.
Hey, I understand. It's Thursday night. This is really happening. I have everybody here in my house. And I have duct tape. Do you have duct tape? I got duct tape. I got duct tape on everybody in my house.
So, but yeah, so it, like you said, Toy, it's about the truth. Tell them the truth, being transparent with them. Believe it or not, I think my husband is real good about telling the kids the truth. He talked to them real, he has real transparent conversations with them. One thing I think we both have too is good role clarity. There are conversations that you need to have with your dad. There are conversations you need to have with mom. And then there are conversations that we feel like we need to tackle together. So that you can get both perspectives.
Okay. Yeah. Everybody
we've learned to respect their privacy, and we've learned to respect their relationships with us individually. The only time we talk to each other about what the other one has said to us is if we feel like they're in danger in some way or getting ready to make a not so great decision with their life. Then we revisit it as a team.
Okay.
They know better than try to play us. Because you will get hung around here. Don't do it around here. Don't do that. But I think that we've set a great blueprint for what we thought. We try to give them what we didn't have.
Right. As most of us do, which makes sense, seriously.
And not just in the physical senses of things and lifestyle. We try to give them a great lifestyle. Yes, a comfortable home, safety. But we try to give them the emotional pieces that we were missing because we both realized that we were raised by broken mothers who didn't heal, didn't seek healing, and literally are honestly living in misery now because of it. And they don't even know how to seek the help at this point because they like old and kind of set in their ways and things of that nature. So
that's generally our primary motivation. You know, it's generally and the truth is that we don't even have to try once we seek to do it for ourselves. It's literally like you're going to give what you have.
Yep.
And once you begin healing, right? Would you agree? Like once we begin healing, we're going to offer that healing from that healing space. You know, we're going to come from that space of healing. So it makes sense, you know? And
let me tell you, one of the things for me, one of the best things I did for myself was understand that my mom only gave me, my real mother only gave me what she had.
That's tough. That's tough for most of us. It's tough, not just some of us to understand that, but to really get real clarity and accept that.
I accepted
all I had. That's all. Because it's literally like, even in a place of getting it, or saying it out your mouth, to get the real truth is that really all she had? Because I have 3 sisters. My older sister always say, they just told me like, don't get pregnant. Like seriously, it was like, don't get, you know, she's like 16 years younger than my mother. So it's like, yeah, don't go out there and have no babies. And she was like,
but then you have to think about it as your mom probably, she got better with each because she had more knowledge with each one. My kids fuss all the time. So my oldest son has angst
it's real. This is real.
About the last 2 getting the life they had, right? And we tease my little brother and my little sister all the time, laughing about what type of parents my parents were when we were young compared
to what they don't even know these people.
They don't even know these people. We be like, I don't know these people. My dad came today and I was like, you ain't the same. Like, dude, you was way tougher. Like on me.
Let's not get to grandparents. We talking about siblings, right?
Right.
And this is what I love about the dynamic of my sisters and I, because literally we are like all within like 10 years differences. So we had 2 different mothers, like period.
Like even for us, my kids are pretty close together.
Okay.
But as me and my husband have evolved, girl, just as we've evolved. The things that my husband when we were putting our first kid through school, we had no clue what we was doing. Like, what are you talking about? This is
the first one.
So now at the end, of course, we got more knowledge and more savvy and more, involvement. Well, who's doing the first one?
The first one.
You was the trial and error. Sorry.
I say it almost every day because first of all, when I published this book, my children were asking, well, how did Joy get a chapter?
Right.
I'm like, well, if you don't want a chapter, trust me, you don't.
Right. You better tell Joy she didn't want no chapter. Joy did not want that chapter. She's like, right. She looking like, gee, y'all need to give me a Christmas gift right now.
She be like, well, we're all good.
So it's so funny because my oldest son is so balanced. He's a great kid, and he just be like, stop it. Y'all don't even know. Like, they was like rolling the dice with me.
They have no idea.
No idea what was happening. But the one thing I love though is that we're transparent enough to have those conversations and laugh with them and say, yes, we are, getting better, we're learning, we're doing things.
Yes.
And even like the experiences, we tell my little sister all the time, the mom and daddy you got, I don't even know these people. These are aliens. We're like,
seriously.
Like, these are aliens.
And then I get to
never this patient in life.
Right.
My dad is probably even keel. He's probably the same person, just not as much energy. But my mom is definitely a different person.
Because and the reason why, because I am we're those moms now. Because now like the mother of a 26-year-old and the mother of a 12-year-old, and then I'm the grandmama. So it's a beautiful thing because we understand now. I understand now clearly that I am a teacher, a student and a teacher of life. So I'm here and I learned so much from them. So I'll be like, thank you and thank you and thank you. Even today, as there is no arrival period. We're work in progress. We're always learning. We're in these relationships. So today I called my son to apologize to him because he's an adult. He's 26 years old. He's in the military. He's been there for like 6-7 years now. He's engaged. He has 2 young daughters, and he and his fiance had separated. They're working it out back together, but they decided to finish the courts to go through like child custody, right? Yeah, I'm putting your eyes on, but it's the truth because it's about. And I was like, wait, y'all getting together and still going to child custody? Because to me it sounds ludicrous. Like, are you all gonna just trust each other and say, you know what, let all that go?
No, they trying to have a plan in place in case it don't work.
Exactly, just in case it don't work, right? And to me, I'm like, wait, what? Like, that's like, and you know how I saw that? Now here's the thing. First of all, it don't matter how I see it. Let's just start with the truth. The way I saw it was like, that's like you're in divorce court and you're planning a wedding at the same time. And here's the thing: if he is, let him do that. It's just, and I was like, wait, what? This makes no sense. It was a natural. It was like my natural reaction. Like,
oh, retarded. You giving yourself bad juju. You speaking it into existence that it's gonna be bad.
But in truth, that's how everything you just did. In truth, what is it? It's his process. It's their journey. It's however it works out, and it could work because that's like saying it's a right way and a wrong way. And who gave me that? And who gave me that authority to say, yeah, this is right and this is wrong? Because it's right for who and wrong for who. Yeah. And I can't say that and live that and be that. And give it to my clients, and bring that out of them, and then do it differently with my son. Because I'm the truth of what I say and believe. Right. I'm gonna be it. And that's definitely it.
Yeah. And I think that's
Ma, you don't coach me. You're my mother. But no, when you have that kind of authority as an adult, as a mother and father, we have to really, really be that. Yeah. Yeah, it's power. You can overpower somebody else's life when you don't have no answer for nobody else's life. We ain't got the answer for our life.
You don't. Yeah, and I think that's what we're trying to let our kids learn from their mistakes. Just try to let them know we're there if they want to have the conversation and they need advice. I think we've established a great open door policy with them. Like, they come and talk to us.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot that we don't know, because one way or another, they're going to talk to one of us. Just depends on what the topic is. And sometimes it's can I talk to the both of y'all? Um, Definitely anything about emotions and stuff like that. I get more of that type of stuff.
No
My
doubt.
husband gets more of the life, decisions, job, career, credit, things of that nature. But like, I think they've learned our strengths and weaknesses too.
Yeah, and it sounds to me like a beautiful balance. Like, would you agree? Like, it sounds like a
But it like, hey, it take work. It didn't start out that way.
yeah.
Like they
You to
gave
be able to understand that and
my
see
two
that.
youngest stepkids gave me the flux. They gave me the pure D flux.
Okay.
Because they still wanted, I think they still wanted their mom and dad to be together. Whereas
Naturally.
the oldest two had experienced them breaking up and
Yeah.
understood the dynamic of it was a little better with when
Wow.
mom and dad ain't fighting. What y'all talking about? We got the best of both
Yeah.
worlds. It's 2000.
That's next month's conversation. I'm serious because I want to talk about blended families. You know, I want to ask you. I'll ask you the question too. But this all really stemmed from the question of, well, first I'm going to ask you in this sense. I'm just curious to know this. Is divorce an option for you at this point?
So that's actually probably a question that I would have to say I don't even have an answer for, to be honest, because
Okay.
so this is, and the reason I say that is because I refuse to be out of the will of God.
Okay.
So whatever the will of God is for my life,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's going to be, and I'm going to deal with it.
Right. I got
And
that.
for the first time in my life, I'm prepared to deal with the will of God. So whatever his answer for me
That's
is,
been
that's
me and
what
you
it's
from
going
day
to be.
one. That's been me and you from day. You
What
like, I
I
just want, I'm gonna live. So go
what
ahead.
I'm going to tell you that I do though is, until God tells me otherwise, I'm his wife. And I'm gonna get up every day as his wife, and I'm going to show up as a wife. And his wife. I'm gonna show up as his wife every day until God tells me otherwise.
Okay. Beautifully said. Because my question was, I asked a few friends like if it was not an option, because I don't know if it is or isn't. I just asked you that because that's what's
I
basically.
think it's easy. It's harder to stay. Don't you think
That
so?
makes sense. I love it. I love that you answered that way, and I asked you in this sense because I asked them like if divorce were not at all an option for you, would anything be different in your marriage? You know what I'm saying? Like if anything, because I feel like in both marriages for me, divorce was always the option. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
You always had the option.
we can chop this
Let me
up,
tell you,
and we chopped it up.
I truly feel like it's harder to stay than it is to go.
I agree. That's exactly why I asked you differently. Seriously,
It's harder to stay than it is to go, and so that's why I say
it's
it's a choice.
always harder to say.
It
It's
is.
like, huh, because to go to do it, come on, it's real. Yeah.
I could go. And so for me, it's one of them things like I'm choosing. That's why I say it's a choice. I'm choosing.
I got it. Yeah, I heard you.
Choosing the good, the bad, the indifferent, whether I'm drained or tired or feel like it today or not, I'm here. And I'm literally here in the capacity of what I'm supposed to be, my vows, my commitment to him, unless God says something otherwise.
Yeah, I so honor marriage and wives, and seriously, like it's such a beautiful honor to wear that crown and do that. And people have, I mean, we have no idea, and like how much you have no idea outside looking in how much work that is being put into.
And you know what I worry about though, as women in society though, we're so caught up in the pomp and circumstance of being a wife. Women aren't talking, mothers aren't teaching their daughters about what it really means and the work that comes with it.
Mothers teach their daughters by being, to be honest. I don't think
and so if you think about it, the Black community, there aren't a lot of wives.
That's true. Yeah, we teach best, period, by just being, and because they learn more from us. We will never learn how much that they learn from us. The things my grandson say, he just random. I'm like, what you just say? And it's just from observing, like literally just observers of life, and they also they're learning from their experiences. So they learning all right. They are
right. And so if if your experience is your mom being single, you're gonna learn single activity. If your
yeah, and
if
come
your mom's
on.
in a bad marriage, you're gonna learn the behaviors of a bad marriage.
Interesting. When I learned that, I mean, when I really, really got that, I'm serious to be, and not just for my daughters, but for myself to be the
Mm-hmm.
example of who I literally want to portray. Not only what I want to portray, who I want to attract.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
because I believe in all of this, and I'm just like, oh, really? So ain't
Mm-hmm.
like, ain't no like, yeah, we do this. Ain't nobody
Mm-hmm.
coming in here. Ain't nobody, don't nobody really even know where I live. Seriously.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
my address?
I can't even
You don't
imagine
even
what
have my
life.
phone number. Like you gotta get to the number to get to the address to get to the.
Right.
It's a
But
no for me.
I think this generation doesn't date either.
Mm, mm,
There isn't dating. It's
mm.
either they go from I met you to now we together, now we living together. I guess we could get married. Oh, I got a baby on the way.
Oh, it's
Like
a girl. This generation, you can't with this. No, no, it's a whole different thing.
you
They
don't
do.
even go out to
No,
dinner
you
and then
went
decide
old
you
school
want
with
to
the
go
new
out with a
school.
petite.
Okay, they do like you don't even. They do what do they call it?
It's like speed
They do
dating.
Dutch dating.
Yeah, all type of stuff.
I'm about to pull grandma out. They do it's some other stuff that I really can't think of, thank God, because I'm about to botch this stuff
Girl,
up.
it's all backwards. The girl
It's,
coming to get the
and
boy,
here's
the boy ain't got
yeah,
no car.
the girls open the doors for them, they pick them
Right.
up.
Listen, you can't
There's a
open the
whole
door
lot
for
of
me
stuff.
because
I'm
we in
like,
an Uber because ain't nobody got a car no more. Like no type of like it ain't
I
no structure.
cannot. And I'm
There ain't no structure.
I so embrace it. And these 30-year-olds be in my face, and I'll be like, yeah, you're like my son's age, you know, it's
Yeah,
not flattering at all to me. Because I'm like,
girl.
yep, yeah, close to the 50 than 40. So it's a no. It's cute, but
Right.
it's
I
not
got somebody. It's so funny because when I
not
go
cute at all to
places
me.
all the
It's not cute.
time, you have people that say things to you, and I'll be like, I got kids your age, G.
Every day, girl, you be like, are you serious right now?
Like for real.
Like
So
it's
my son went to the emergency room and with COVID they don't let you in the back
yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
And so the nurse stopped me and was like, ma'am, you can't, she said, miss, you can't go back there with him. Girl, I gave her what?
You can't have that mama what? The
I
what?
was like, huh? I said, he's a minor.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, huh? I said, he's a minor. That's my child. And so unless you plan on seeing him right here in this
Like little mama,
lobby,
girl, you looking like
she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I felt like you were his friend or his girlfriend. I was like, thank you, honey. I know I don't look that young. Not today, anyway. Mm-mm.
mm-hmm.
No.
No, I
And
get
she
it.
was
No, seriously.
apologizing. I was like,
Yeah.
society is so crazy, though, because women our age,
Mm-hmm.
Toy, really are dating like these young dudes.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, seriously, because this is exact another thing. I'm gonna always go back to embracing forward because I didn't just write it. I believe I've
Right.
been doing this, talking this before it was ever even in black and white, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
that was what I decided not to do. Like I literally got a checklist on the way out. I'm out the door, and I said, you know what? I would like everybody who came at me was like in their 20s, late 20s, early 30s. I was like, and I had just turned 40, and I was like, is this for real? So, so I'm like, okay, so what are you doing here? Oh, forward. You're gonna do because
Forward and 40. Forward and 40.
I was like, you know what? I'm not doing reaching back for what I missed. Now, here's the thing: if anybody want the Angela, what's that?
Wait
next tell story, you just like take it.
Go for it. It just ain't for me.
Hey, embrace backwards. No, I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just
It just ain't for me. It just ain't for me.
It's not mine. And that's the best thing that I was able to uncover what was for me. And that's what I want for everybody else.
I'm already raising 5. I can't be teaching nobody else life skills and how to date me and all that. Like,
I don't even know. First of all, I have to have. I'm vocal, so I like to have conversation, and it's like one conversation and a no. That's what it's been like for me for the last 5 years.
And they don't talk about nothing. They don't know how to talk because all they do is text. They don't have conversations. Like,
somebody said, do you have an IG? I didn't even know what an IG was when somebody said it. I was like, what is that? Embracing 40s. I was like,
what are you talking about? I can't even like. to do business about like do better about like posting and stuff. I'm like who sits on the video chat and talk about nothing all day? Like I don't have time for that. Like the kids
Yeah,
be
I
on
mean
the phone all
it's
day
cute, you know.
and don't talk about nothing. Fall asleep on the phone, all type of book. What is happening here?
Yeah, seriously, and you can embrace marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Because seriously, first of all, I'm an advocate for. I just believe that, you know, I'm a divorcee. Yes, I am a divorce. So twice divorcee, but I just believe in like, if like you making your relationship strong, because it's no matter what, if you don't become whole in that space, it's
Mm-hmm.
not about that person. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about the person. It's about you, no matter what.
Yes.
So you can leave and say, well, he was this and he was that. He wasn't killing you or beating you, right? I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, you know, this. I believe in seasons. So hey,
Mm-hmm.
seasons come and seasons go. Get that. But if you don't really get the lessons, if you really
Right. You
get,
can't change
come on,
yourself.
what you're gonna do is gonna meet another him.
Yep. Yep.
I did it, so I can't make
One
this
of
up.
me and one of my
But what you
girlfriends
gonna do?
was
You're gonna meet
talking
another
about.
him with another name. He's gonna
Yep.
be a different name, because you're just transferring your issues
Mm-hmm.
on to the next and on to the seriously
Right.
on to the next. That's what
And
it is.
until you fix you, you're not gonna attract anything differently.
That's right.
And so that's why I was saying at the beginning, we need to stop talking about and manifesting that expectation.
Yes.
So people can just show up as their authentic self, who
Hmm.
you're gonna be. So that's 5 years from into the relationship, you don't look disingenuous. Because now all of those things that you tried to hide that you can't keep that up no more,
Yeah.
you was that person. Yeah, that's gonna come out eventually. You can't keep that up.
Yeah, but here's the thing too. If they do, like, say if they
Yeah.
do, I also feel like it's a sign that you are not healed.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, like I said, like coming from
Mm-hmm.
like open wombs opposed to coming from healed wombs. When
Yeah.
your wombs are open, like you just, it's a fresh scratch, you still got blood on it, it's not scabbed or anything.
Right.
And then here I am saying, come on, I'll take you.
Right.
And so it might, you know, in the right time. And because if you, when that's what you're talking about, that's where you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you still saying, yeah, because and she don't let me see the kids, and she,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's a no. Like I can meet somebody, have one conversation, and it's a no. It
Mm-hmm.
don't take a day. It don't take a dinner.
Right.
It don't take
But
my
see,
time.
the
It's a no.
problem is that we try to force it though, because we
Yeah,
see
yeah,
red
yes,
flags,
yes,
and you know we do this, especially as women. We see red flags,
yeah.
and the flag be waving.
They want to not only force it, they want to save them.
Right,
They want to be,
right.
because that's what I
I
want.
can,
When
you know,
I can be
and
everything she.
I
Oh,
was
what did she do? What
I
did
was
she do? She didn't do
definitely
that.
guilty of
You
my
deserve it.
love and who I am.
Yeah.
No,
It's
because let me tell you, who
mm,
I am was broken. How can I fix
exactly.
you? How can I
Come
help
on.
you? How can I pull you up? And you know what I'm saying? At some point, we're
Yes.
weighing each other down because the heavy
Yes.
get heavy,
Mm-hmm.
and and then you become resentful, and then you become bitter, and then you know what I'm saying. Then
And
you
then
get
what's
angry.
and then what's easy is somebody else to be there too. I'm
Mhm.
serious, because
Even your friendships, you'll get sidetracked and you'll go out with your girls all the time. You find
girl,
yourself
and your
doing
girls
other
will be
things,
telling you, girl.
right? And don't.
And,
And let me tell you another thing.
mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I don't believe in that married women can't have single friends. No. Women need to have healthy friends. Because
Mm-hmm.
you can have some unhealthy married friends, some unhealthy single friends.
Come on.
Women need healthy friends.
Yeah. I
Hold
believe
me
every relationship,
accountable.
make all your relationships healthy. And that's
Right.
period.
Hold me accountable for who I
Yes.
say I want to be
Come on.
and the type of woman that I want to be. Hold me
Mm.
accountable for my character, who you know I
It's
am.
the character for me. Come
It's
on.
the
Let's go.
character.
Come on.
And
Seriously.
so what I found was a lot of my relationships went like that with my
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend.
Yeah, but
They
you were
weren't
that person, right? You was like, girl,
right.
be
This is not who you want to do. No, we're not gonna
this.
bust out
No,
no
no.
windows. We
Yeah,
not going
no.
to jail tonight.
Yeah.
That's not what we're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
I was that person, but I didn't have that person for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, when my marriage broke down, of course, I wasn't talking to anybody about it. You know, you don't have those things when my life was
Whew,
falling apart.
come on.
Even when I was going through. So what I happened for me going back even before my husband, when I was going through things as a single mom, um, I got burned in the area of being so transparent with my friends. I was telling them everything that then
Hmm.
I was labeled as the victim all the time. And she
Oh,
can't
for
get
sure.
it together and she can't figure it out. And so then every decision I made was judged. So then when I really did need help with things, it was you did this to yourself versus even when life was dishing me bad cards, I couldn't get no
Yeah.
assistance
Yeah.
because,
That
and I
that's
just think fundamentally black women just do that. We just,
that's been the lack of compassion. I know you haven't been last time was Valentine, but thank God you
yeah,
because you married, and that's a great thing. I'd rather you've been with your husband to be there. But this is real. But good, the great thing about it is that we are marching for this conversation,
yes,
for next month, and I'm excited about it because I feel so much compassion. It really took me back to the beginning. So I'm like, Toy,
mhm,
where did this begin? And it literally began for me at like 12 with my first boyfriend when I first
mhm,
discovered that pretty, and I connected with some of the other women. It's like they thought they were ugly. Some people,
mhm,
they um held their brains like, oh, I know I'm smart. So
mhm,
young girls. So we had this pretty girl smart girl competition going on. We had this
mhm,
light girl dark, in hindsight, literally in truth, it's all to separate and
mhm,
polarize and keep us
mhm.
separated. And it was all systemically put
Yeah,
together.
it's
And it's still
terrible.
going. And it
Yeah,
saddens me more. I think I really believe that this probably saddens me more than anything. This system, because if when we do come together, it's power begets
powerful.
power.
It's
Yeah.
so powerful.
Yeah.
It's so encouraging. And it's so much healing in a room. What's sad though is that we feel more comfortable talking in a room full of strangers
Hmm.
than we do with people that have been in our lives 10, 15, 20 years because of the preset judgments.
Hmm.
Um, we
Yeah.
won't
Yeah.
support one another. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
you
This
think somebody's
conversation is
taking your
huge.
lane.
It's
Let
taken
me
off
tell
because it's
you,
real. It's good
I
stuff.
have since the pandemic. I've always been a supporter of small Black businesses. I have made it a point to spend my dollars as much as I can, as soon as, in whatever way I can, to
Yes,
support and sow
ma'am.
seeds
Same here.
into other
Mhm.
black, into other minority
Yeah,
women.
it's like we take more time. Like even if we order something, like order some on Etsy, it's like
Mhm,
black. Is this black? Oh, okay. Is this a black owned business really selling a
mhm.
Black Lives Matter
But
T-shirt?
I've even one of my closest
We just
friends is a
never know.
Mexican American. I love all races. I've just been trying myself to be honest. I pour
Oh,
into my Black women, but I pour into women.
right.
Men,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
through some stuff that
Yeah. Oh,
men just don't go through. We go through some stuff that just men don't go through. My
yes.
husband has had the same friends for 30 years. That's unheard of.
Yes. The Woman Code. I'm telling you, this book I read.
What? They don't
And I
have
just
no
feel like,
because when
hey,
we
we gotta get these codes. Come on, sis.
sis, let
Let's
me tell
go.
you. I'm gonna take you back. Me and
Okay.
my husband have been married 6 years in June. We've been together almost 11, right?
Oh. Hmm.
When we got married, we had 13 bridesmaids and 13 groomsmen.
Hmm.
My husband had the time of his life. You understand?
Yeah.
These
You're.
men took care of
I'm
him.
sure you
They
know.
catered to him. He had a
Okay.
ball. Like
Yeah.
they ain't had no
Pay for
drama.
everything. He had no worries. He had 99, but that wasn't none of those ones.
Do you understand how stressed out
Yes.
these women?
Yeah.
They
Some
took
people you haven't even talked
the
to. I would.
ringer, the
Yeah.
ringer, and I was like, "What is happening?" And
It gets real.
from that experience, I'm
Hmm.
not friends with some of them to this day.
Yeah. Marriages
You see
get real.
people's real with women. Unfortunately, when they get married, you see their real true colors. And
Yeah. Oh,
so,
that's good.
a lot of my
That's a place to
relationships
really
got
come from.
damaged.
How about the
Yes,
weddings? What is
we
that?
huh, jealousy.
Okay, jealousy.
Even if they married,
You gonna
jealousy,
call it out. So just she said, I'm just it's just
jealousy.
isn't that interesting? It's like
Let me tell you too. Some people need you um to always struggle.
yeah, Yeah, I'm convinced of that. Like it's I'm so clear. Like it should be a clear button where I'm just like clear, because it's literally if you literally don't work on your own healing, you're just walking around broken, and you're just passing off your brokenness to others and your other relationships.
And let me tell you, the thing that hurt me the most about the experience is, out of all of my girlfriends, believe it or not, I was the only one who ever wanted to, quote unquote, really get married. Like, everybody knew that about me. Like, she want to get married, have a family. This is what she's been trying to do since, like,
this church girl. What is
this girl right here? And so for my experience to be what it was, I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. And getting married, we had the big wedding, 150 people, the banquet, like we had the whole thing. So it's already stressful enough coming up with money, paying for things. And we had a kid graduating from high school. We had a kid graduating from high school at the same time that we trying to get married. So it was a lot. And it was so many emotions, and people wanted me to acknowledge them doing certain things. And I had a situation with my invitations, and 3 of my bridesmaids was available to help me. I had to relabel all of my invitations so they could get in the mail. Because I posted and shouted out 3 that helped, 2 of the other ones got upset. I was like, why are you upset? You won that. And I wasn't mad at you for not being there. I just was saying thank you to them. Let me tell you, that was one of those experiences where I learned how to not put every aspect of my life on social media.
Yep. Really doing. Yeah. Really, no.
Grandbaby in the back. Hey.
I know, right?
But yeah, that was one of the times that I learned to, everything doesn't have to be put on social media. Okay. And I also learned in that process of getting married and being married and going through the things that we went through. I stopped posting my husband and my kids so much on social media. You'll probably see my kids more than you'll see my husband. Because I don't want people to think they know my marriage. I don't want people to be like, oh, it's so.
I love it. You took charge of it. You like it's. I'm not gonna paint a pretty picture, or ugly picture. I'm just not even gonna paint a picture.
Right. Get out my business. This is my marriage. This is what we doing. I told one of my girlfriends today, the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Beautiful.
I said, pull up to my yard and see. Don't I need to? Half of my yard is green. My real yard.
I love yards. So I also get that serious.
But listen,
it's real.
Boy, half of my yard is green. Half of it is brown. I said, this is the greatest depiction of my life.
Beautifully.
Part of it is green.
That's a beautiful way to let it. Seriously,
the parts of it is need a little less, need some more water. It's almost there, and that's really what it is. It's a growing process.
And every year you got to pick. Now we right here, my truth. Because and then every year you got to pick them weeds. Like right now, the sun. I mean, the season's changing, but they come out naturally.
Yes,
and every year. And this is what I'm here for. I am here for the work.
For the work.
I'm here for the work because like tomorrow, I'm going to get an oil change. You know what I'm saying? Like, and why do people really think or have shame? Why is there shame around doing work in your marriage, work in your relationship? I don't know. Because just like the house need maintenance, the landscaping maintenance, your car needs maintenance. What is up with that? Like, it's okay. This picture perfect thing, it does not exist.
They don't want process. Nobody wants to go through the process.
That's true.
So we bought our house 3 years ago in May, right? Sis, I just got living room furniture 3 days ago.
Come on, and congratulations to that.
Let me tell you, but it's a process.
This will be my 5th year, and I'm literally just filling up this house.
Right.
This year.
Sis, let me tell you 2 things. One, I wasn't going to settle. I want what I want.
Me too. I'd rather not have it and wait.
Listen, we're going to be here for 30 years. I want what I want. I'm not going to settle just to have. I wasn't trying to impress nobody or nothing. Because let me tell you, it did not stop people from coming to my house for cookouts, kicking it, playing in parties. Because the space was empty. So everybody was using it as a banquet room. Okay.
You know what? We're going to, on that note, we're going to close out. But that's so real because I'm thinking as you're talking, I'm thinking like
it's a process.
I will not compromise. You sound like what I hear you say is that I'm not gonna compromise for and it's the same way with me. I don't care if it's furniture or a man. Honestly, I'm not compromising myself. And once you get to a place where you say, I have a standard, I'm gonna hold myself to my values. You and you don't compromise that. That's staying true to yourself. You can hear truth and all these things. It sounds like a thing to say, but it's a thing to be and a thing to live. And when you get to that space, that's what matters in life, period, to you.
And you know what else is? My prayer was, I had prayed at the big, you remember, I was praying, we y'all did 30 days with me, 30 women for 30 days for 30 minutes. One of my prayers was, I didn't want to go into debt, furnishing my house, right? And just like anything in life, I don't want to go into debt fixing it. I'm not going to keep sacrificing for the show. And so everything that we have, we've taken our time to save, to put aside, to plan it.
Yes.
So we wouldn't be in debt building it. Like
and you building
the show for other people.
Enjoy it differently. No pressure.
Right, enjoying it.
I literally just started that same thing today. Seriously, I haven't credited anything and I haven't. Same thing, went into debt with anything. And it's so freeing. You know, it's literally, I truly live in abundance. And it sounds like you living in abundance. And that's what it's about.
We're trying, but look, it took us forever to get that way. And then we also had to learn how to work like a team. Like everything wasn't an I did it.
God bless. I'm telling and that's why for sis to come in and be thinking like you're gonna come in and do something different than the wife or take the wife, girl. You can have your husbands, because I'm gonna tell you something. There's a lot of things that you can think of me, but that I want him is not one. And that's just the truth for real. Because I so honor you. I so honor the queens and the crowns and the work behind it that I can't even play the game with somebody. So I can't
even trying to get ready for this call with you today. I had to make sure dinner was ready and everything because somebody would have came in the middle of the call and said, so what's for dinner? So if I could think ahead.
Talking about it. Come on, talk about the work. Girl, I love you. I so appreciate you.
And it's a plan. And I would say this to any woman.
Give it to us.
Especially a wife. Have a plan time for yourself. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of balance. There are going to be days where you forget about you. Plan out time for you, like you plan to drop the kids off, like you plan time for him, like you plan time to do laundry. Plan time. I am learning in 18 years of motherhood, 6 years of marriage, to plan out time for myself. Beautiful. Whether that's getting my nails done or getting my hair done or just going out to get some time, especially in this pandemic. You're stuck in the house. Everybody feels blah. Seasonal depression is real. You know what I'm saying? Because the sun is not out. Plan time for yourself and get back to yourself. One thing I love to do, I love to roller skate. It's my favorite thing to do, right? My hip is bad. I had surgery a year ago, so my hip's been bothering me, so I couldn't get out. But that was one of the things that I was doing. I was taking that time for me. That couple of hours, they will survive without you for 2-3 hours.
Thank you.
And I've been telling all of my girlfriends who are moms and everybody's in this pandemic, you have to take some time for yourself. You have to plan it out. I wouldn't survive if I didn't have a plan because I do so much. With the kids and my husband, and his schedule is crazy and my schedule is crazy, and it get like that. It's just life. Like whether you're in a relationship or not, it's life. It gets crazy, but you have to stop.
But it's double. You got to be on.
It's double.
It really is real. I just had this conversation with my sister today. She took her husband to Miami for his birthday. They left today, and their son is here. And she was like, "Is this for real? Like all the things you have to do just to get away?" And I'm hearing you. It sounds like the exact same conversation.
Yeah,
that's real.
It's
that's why it's even harder, people, to choose to have an affair, to choose to bring extramarital people in. Because I'm telling you, if your shit not together, you invite people into your shit. Who invite people to the bathroom? You know, that's like saying, "Come to the bathroom with me." You know, because
like we said today, don't
work
throw in
on that shit.
Don't throw in the towel.
Saying, seriously,
right? Don't throw in the
bottom
towel.
Line.
I be wanting to throw the towel, girl, across the room. Like, if y'all don't get this crap out of here,
Come on, stay true to it. Stick with it. Be like sis. Come on, get strong. Because seriously, I'll honor and respect to you.
Yeah, and get you a strong girlfriend circle. I would tell
women. That. Oh my God, that's real.
Get you a strong girlfriend circle, and if everybody in the circle has a role, honor the role that person plays.
Yes, that's great.
But you need that. We try to act like we don't, but we do. You need somebody somebody that's gonna pray. You need somebody that's gonna make you laugh. You need somebody that is going to cry with you. You need somebody that's gonna encourage you, but give it to you real, like that dagger real.
Yeah.
And then you might need somebody who will bust the windows with you. But it's okay.
Come on, we got them all. And my girlfriend told me one time, she said, I'm a rational person.
Right. So
for rationality, don't call me.
So my husband, all of them have a role, right? It's like 5 of them in a core, and then it's like we got them all. About 10 of them, 10 to 13 of them. Yeah. It's certain ones. If you don't want it to kick off, don't call them. If you in that space, because they don't know who they are. Right. Everybody has a role, and they respect each other in those roles, and that's why the dynamic works so well for them.
Yes, ma'am.
And we as women need to get to that space, like our group of women. It's 5 of us in that group. Everybody plays a different role in that group. Yes. We give each other the space to be in that group. We haven't seen each other in months, but we know that if anybody in this group needs to pick up the phone and we call and we say, hey sis, this is what I need, because that's your role in the group, that person is going to do what's required of them, because we took a vow to be that person in the group.
We come for each other, because
we check it. So like when you text me and said, this is what I need from you,
I said, let's talk about it. Come on,
let's talk about it. But let me tell you what you said first. You said, sis, are you comfortable talking about it first? You asked my permission, and because you asked my permission, you know who I am in it. Yes, sis. I'm gonna make myself available. Let me figure this out.
I did that.
Because 1, you wouldn't have asked me if you didn't need me, and 2, you wouldn't have asked me if God hadn't led you to ask me to talk about it, because you felt like there was something that another woman needed from our conversation.
Absolutely. Come on. And that's what it's about. That's what we're here for. You know, we're going to close out, but we literally here, a group of healing women. You know,
healing women. And I'm for that. And that's why I felt like when you asked me to talk about it 2 years ago, I probably wasn't healed. But I can say that I'm healing.
Yeah, because it's open wounds and closed wounds, right? It's like we're
and sometimes that band-aid get pulled off and you be like ready to fight, like what?
Yes. And then here we go. Put it back on and just come on, continue the process.
Get a clean band-aid, clean it off, and get a clean band-aid. And what I'm learning also is to not be so reactionary. Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the things I've grown in. I'm not so reactionary. And I no longer live in disappointment. I'm not disappointed when people don't show up. What I've learned is stop expecting me and other people. That was hard.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that is a tough one right there. Now that's that conversation. This is that sister conversation for real. We're gonna close out, but that's that conversation to have, because this is a lot of times we don't understand that, because not that we do things looking for it to get the return, but we just naturally expect it. So you're like, wait, I do this for you. You don't show up like that, but they don't. And when it becomes okay with you being you, and you just like, I'm me. Oh, I'm me. You not me. You know, that's when it's okay. Like, it's like, I just want to be more me and allow you to be you. I'm not being me for you to be me. You know what I'm saying? Right. Or to get what I want.
That's exactly why
and that's a beautiful thing.
I show up every day as his wife, because I can be me. I gotta be me regardless if he's not being him.
Exactly.
He's not being, that's his choice. But I'm
and if that relationship don't teach you, if you don't learn it from nowhere, you're gonna learn it from the edge. Is that the truth?
Listen, being married and being a mother teaches you so many things about yourself. Being a wife and being a mother teaches you some lessons that no other relationship
Facts. That's
teaches
facts.
you.
Yeah.
Nothing in the world. And no other relationships,
I agree,
for me, have hurt me like those. Like, if my son is disappointed in me, I'm crushed. Like, when my kids ain't happy with me, I'm like, what did I do? What? And when me and my husband are not in the best space, it messes up my whole day. I'll be like, this got me off my squad. I can't cook.
oh my
I can't
God,
do
that was
nothing. Like,
seriously,
we gotta talk about it.
you off, right? You gotta talk. Let's talk about it, right? It's like you off, because these, and this is why we have these conversations seriously, because these people are literally a part of who you are. I literally believe
the fabric of who I am.
When you disconnect from these people, you're disconnected from yourself.
You
know, they literally are part of who you are. And people go for years without talking to their children or without talking to their
my mom, my biological,
your mother.
Right. My
and
biological mother. So, you know, I was raised by two. I was raised as I feel like I tell people I was raised like a group home. Like, feeling, because I had so many people raising me, my grandmother, and then when I refer to my mom and dad, I'm really talking about my aunt and uncle, because they took such a large hand in raising me. But my biological mother spent majority of my life not speaking to me, like being in the same house with me and wouldn't talk to me. Wow. And so I definitely, like I was saying over the weekend when me and my son wasn't talking, that I didn't like that. Like, I was like, wait, this is a trigger for me. Like, no. I've worked too hard for us not to have that kind of relationship. And so, but it's a difference in not speaking to a person and being quiet so that you can hear from God to have a conversation. And we need to know the difference. Know the difference. And so how you handle your relationship with your kid and how you handle your relationship with your mate is two different things. And a lot of people just think communication is communication, and it's not. Every relationship has a different level of communication that we need to foster and learn. And I don't think we take the time to do that. We don't know how to talk to people. It's not what you. It's not.
We learn it, and that's why we're here having a conversation, because we learn it, right, ladies?
We learn it.
Honestly, seriously,
I'm learning every day. I'm learning every day. How I talk to my girlfriends, how I talk to my husband, right? How I talk to you is not how I would talk to the kids. You know what I'm saying? So even how you talk to your girlfriends is probably not how you talk to your sisters. You know what I'm saying? It's different.
It is.
And so we learning. We're definitely learning. I love this platform that you're using. I love that you're using your voice, because let me tell you, you using your voice has made me have to use mine, because you hold me accountable for my purpose. And I love you for that. I'm so thankful for your love, for your sistership. And for your openness and your kindness towards me, and allowing me to be transparent and allowing me to be my authentic self, who I am and who God has called me to be, and teaching me to be her. You're the one in the group, Toy, you and Angel don't let us say no. You let us say no. Y'all don't let us say no.
And I thank you so much for showing up. You know, I do. I thank you for being here, and just, I know if you show up, you're gonna show up as yourself. So that's no doubt. But I so appreciate you being here, and your yes.